Welcome to the Workplace Minute, powered by H3HR Advisors and sponsored by WorkHuman. Thanks for joining me for a quick update on what is important in the world of work. My name is Steve Boese. Today in the Workplace Minute, we often hear that artificial intelligence will benefit all workers, that AI will augment human capabilities, increase productivity, and create new opportunities for workers and organizations alike. But what happens when companies start paying for these AI investments by reducing spending on employees? Let's dive in. One of the most common arguments we hear about artificial intelligence is that AI will help workers become more productive, more effective, and ultimately more valuable. The promise is that AI will augment human work, not simply replace it. It will help people do more, learn more, and contribute more. At least that is the story many organizations have been telling. But over the last few weeks, we've seen something very different emerge. We've started to see companies become unusually transparent about where the money for their AI investments is actually coming from. And in several cases, the answer appears to be straightforward: employee compensation, employee benefits, and employee jobs. That should get the attention of every worker, every HR leader, and every executive trying to understand what the AI era will really mean for the workplace and for working people. The first example I want to share comes from software company Teradata. According to reports, Teradata CEO Steve McMillan informed the company's roughly 5,100 employees that they should not expect annual salary adjustments in 2026 because those funds instead would be redirected towards AI investments and AI talent. And the company framed their decision as part of an effort to, quote, win in the market with AI. Employees would still be eligible for performance bonuses and equity awards, but the traditional annual compensation increase that many employees have come to expect were put on hold in order to fund the company's AI strategy. Now, of course, annual raises are not guaranteed, and companies certainly have the right to make investment decisions, but let's be honest about what happened here. A company looked at its budget, looked at its workforce, looked at AI, and decided that money that would have gone to employees was better spent elsewhere, specifically on AI. The second example may even be more striking. TTEC, which is a technology and customer experience services company, announced it was suspending its 401k matching contributions for its U.S. employees through the end of 2026. In internal communications, company leaders said the move would help fund AI tools, automation efforts, workforce training, certifications, and other capabilities needed for the company's AI future. In effect, retirement benefits that workers counted on were reduced in order to create financial flexibility for AI investments. So think about what that means from the employee perspective. For many workers, a company match is one of the most valuable benefits they receive. It directly affects long-term financial security and their retirement readiness. Yet here we have another example where the costs of AI transformation are being shared unevenly. The company gets the technology investments, but workers lose part of their retirement benefits. And then we have the comments from Standard Chartered CEO Bill Winters. During discussion about the bank's plans to automate work and reduce thousands of positions, Winters described the effort as replacing what he called, quote, lower value human capital with investments in technology and AI. The remarks generated significant backlash, and he later apologized for the wording, but the underlying message was hard to miss. The organization plans to eliminate thousands of roles as automation expands and AI takes on more of the operational work. And what struck many people was not simply the job reductions. We're starting to get used to those. Companies restructure all the time, but it was the language. Referring to workers as lower value human capital may have been an attempt to describe the economics of automation, but it also revealed something important about how some leaders are increasingly thinking about labor and technology. When workers are viewed primarily as a cost center and technology is viewed primarily as an investment, it becomes easier to just shifting resources away from people and toward machines. Let me say that again, just so I'm clear. Workers are now seen as costs to be managed, and AI is seen as an investment in the future. Now, taken individually, each of these examples might have been dismissed as a unique business decision, but together they help to tell a larger story. Across industries, executives are facing intense pressure from investors, boards, analysts, and competitors to demonstrate that they do have an AI strategy. No CEO wants to be accused of falling behind. No board wants to explain why competitors are moving faster. And no company wants to miss what many believe could be a once-in-a-generation technological shift. And the result is that AI spending has become almost mandatory. The challenge is that these investments are expensive. AI infrastructure is expensive, the software is expensive, the specialty talent is crazy expensive, consulting services, etc. And increasingly, companies are making difficult choices about where to find all this money. And for workers, it creates a troubling question. If AI is supposed to increase productivity and create value, why are employees already being asked to absorb so much of the costs? And this is where I think leaders need to be very careful. And there's nothing wrong with investing in AI. Organizations absolutely should be exploring new technologies, and they should be training employees. They should be improving processes and preparing for the future. But history is full of examples of companies chasing the next big thing and convincing themselves that technology alone would solve their problems. You could call enterprise software as an example, outsourcing, offshoring, business process reengineering, any manner of digital transformation, the shift of technologies to the cloud. Every era has had some kind of miracle technology cure, and every era had executives promising that this new technology would unlock unprecedented productivity and growth. And every era eventually realized the same truth. Technology by itself doesn't create a successful organization, only people do. People are the ones who build the customer relationships and build trust. They are the ones who innovate. They solve new problems. They're faster to adapt when things change. And people ultimately determine whether a transformation will succeed or whether it'll fail. AI is a powerful tool, and it may become one of the most important technologies of our lifetime. If organizations fund that future by consistently reducing investments in the people who actually make the business work, then they risk undermining the very foundations of their success. And for workers, these stories are an early signal of what may be lying ahead. The AI age is not simply about new tools. It's increasingly becoming a conversation about who bears the cost of transformation and who receives the benefits. And for CEO and boards, the lesson is equally important. AI is not a strategy. It's not a substitute for leadership. It can't replace your culture, and it certainly can't replace your people. The companies that win in the AI era will not be the ones who choose technology over people. They will be the ones who figure out how to invest in both, because every successful transformation effort in history is ultimately dependent on people, and this one will too. That's it for the show today. A big thank you to WorkHuman for supporting the Workplace Minute, and be sure to subscribe to the HR Happy Hour Network on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Steve Boese, and this has been the Workplace Minute from H3 HR Advisors.